What's up, y'all? This is the Curious One, and we're kicking it here at the Ugly Table. Got my Spider-Man collection out, and yeah, it's pretty small. I have the superposable action retro carded Spider-Man that you see over here flying. Got the comic book Venom, Spider-Ham and Gwen Stacy, Miles, and the Diamond Select Spectacular Spider-Man. I'd seen this figure a few times while going through Target looking for G.I. Joes and stuff, and I didn't really think it was for me, but I kind of looked at my Spider-Man collection. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, and I look at my collection and I'm like, what am I doing? Why don't I have like a bigger collection of my favorite? So I went ahead and picked him up. So here it is. It's the Negative Zone Pizza Spidey. I actually don't have the actual Pizza Spidey in my collection. I think it normally comes with a head that has the mask, like, so his mouth is showing so he can actually eat the pizza. But as you can see, he comes in black and white. I don't know the storyline or the comic or whatever. If you check out Shartimus Prime's review for this, though, he goes into a little bit more detail on that. Me, I just see it as a black and white Spider-Man. He has all the hands that every Spider-Man should come with, so that was a major selling point. I definitely would not eat that pizza, though. That looks gross. You know what I mean? Another thing that I noticed is I think that spider is just a little bit too high on his chest. I think it should be a little bit lower. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it unless I want to take that paint off and try to paint it again, and I do not have the skills for that. I am definitely not great with a brush. But here's the front of it. You can see it comes in the retro card. And you got the back. If you want to read that, you can go ahead and pause it. But yeah, I'm going to try not to destroy this box when I open it up. That way, if I decide that I don't like him on the shelf anymore, I can stick him back in this retro card and hang him on a thumbtack somewhere on the wall. So let's get that done. So I did jack it up just a little bit right around there and up here. But if it's hanging on a thumbtack, it's going to be pressed against the wall. That should cover itself up. But basically, down here, there's a space that you can fit a knife into. I just cut it up around to about right here, and then back over here to about right there. And it made it so I could pry it open and pop the Spidey out. So here he is out of the box. I'm pretty sure it's just a repaint of the Pizza Spidey. I'm not a huge Marvel Legends collector, so I can't really tell you from what figure, where it originally came from, and this and that. So I don't know if this body was used before. This is my first experience with this body, and I can tell you that I'm not the hugest fan of it already, and this is my first one. Another thing that really bothered me is that he's got the super rubbery legs. I don't know. I thought that was like used specifically on the female figures, but apparently they used to use it on Spider-Man as well, because this leg is super rubbery. Also, I don't know if exactly when this was released. As I said, I saw it on Target a bunch of times, but I hadn't planned to pick it up, just because it's not a typical looking Spider-Man. Most of the paint is pretty good on it. He doesn't have any boot cuts, and that really bothers me. I really hate it when they don't put the boot cuts in there. something else about the figure. I think it's just maybe it's just too tall and skinny in the waist. That might be what bothers me. Also, it looks like they tried to fill up the gap between his legs. So they made those ball joints too short, and that makes it so that you get almost, look at that, that's so fucking horrible. So you don't get any out. Like what is that? This is Spider-Man, man. He's supposed to be flexible, and not just at his knees. But all right, so at least he did come with all 3 sets of hands, which should be mandatory with all Spider-Man figures. Any Spider-Man that is released without these 3 sets of hands, whoever is responsible should be jugging out back and beat with rubber hoses. But yeah, there's the 3 hands, and then the pizza slice that probably won't be used by me because it's gross looking. Wall crawling hands, flipping hands. Now the wall crawling hands is the ones that they usually cheap out on us with. They did it with this retro Spider-Man up here. It really pissed me off. And now, of course, he's like really hard to find unless you want to spend a ton of money for him. But yeah, the paint isn't horrible. There's a few problems. I have an issue with some black paint missing here and here at his waist. When I first pulled him out of the box, this leg was so seized up that I was actually scared that it had been broken at the factory, super glued back together and shipped out. But I heated it up and I managed to get it to crack, and it's working. There's a little white missing there, some white missing there, a little bit of white missing there, but not too bad. His eyes look pretty good, except for right here the white goes over onto where the black should be. But not too shabby. I've definitely seen worse. Might be just a tad off right there as well, but looks really good, all except for right there. So that pleases me. Like I said though, I think that spider should be just a little bit lower on his chest. Does get some good kick forward. Not so much backwards, but you can fake it a little bit. So it's only going back that much. But if you slide it out to the side, you can get a tiny bit more. Got a cut at the waist. No boot cut. I'm doing this all in random ass order. Double jointed knees, and it does bend well. Get a lot of down, a lot of up. That's good. You need that for Spider-Man and ninjas. Got a thigh cut. No boot cut. Bums me out. Got a waist cut here. The ab crunch is about to right there, but I noticed it can go farther. The problem is it splits on the side right there. When I watched Shardamus's review, his was able to do the same thing, except for his would split down here at this side. So I'm not sure what's up with that. He doesn't get any back unless you want that opening up there again. Yeah. So that's a real bummer, and it trips me out that it's like that. Let's see. If you put any backward movement on him, he starts to open up. Really weird. And then if you use the full potential of the ab crunch, he opens up too. Otherwise you get almost nothing. Now if he had the ab slit, you could probably pop him open and get more out of it, but I don't think you can do that with that. I've never seen anybody say that you could. Another weird thing that I saw is down in here, if you looked at the slot where that disc goes is not cut properly, so it's kind of off to the side. See how that one is compared, oh shit. See how that one is compared to this one? How it's cut at an angle, and then there's some flash there too, but I can clean the flash up. That's not a big deal. But I did notice that this arm originally didn't want to go all the way into the T-pose, whereas this one did it just fine. This one I had to twerk on in order to get it to go right. So then you got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows to about right there. Twist at the wrist, up and down. And then, yeah, both up. Well, I guess that's going to be the dice rolling hands. Yeah, they're both dice rolling hands. And then head gets a lot of down movement. Get this arm out of the way. Oh, tried to force it a little bit too far. But you get some pretty good upward movement. I would like a little bit more, because it is Spider-Man. He's going to be crawling and flying. Well, not actually flying, but throwing himself through the air. He's got to be able to see where he's going, but it's not so bad. I think it's the angle of the neck that makes it. If the neck was a little bit more straight up, be able to get more up looking. But yeah, it's pretty much just a basic Spider-Man on an old body with a new paint color. And pretty much just got him to add to my Spider-Man collection, because Spider-Man collection is definitely lacking. But I do have a bunch of stuff on pre-order, so that should be changing here soon. I just saw this guy enough times to where I was like, screw it, I'll go ahead and grab him. I also picked up a Retro Rogue at the same time, just because I didn't want to spend $6 on shipping for one figure, so I slapped her in the cart too and got free shipping. So I'll probably go ahead and make a video for her as well. Alright, y'all. Have a good night. Try to stay out of trouble. Take it easy, alright? Laters.